Let's just say I wasn't introduced to FIUTS the quote-unquote traditional way. My roommate Fia caught what I like to call the FIUTS syndrome, which is when you won't stop promoting FIUTS to your friends and try to sneak it in every conversation possible. One Friday afternoon during my sophomore year, I got a call from Fia. She invited me to this meetup about a really cool cultural event. And I remember thinking to myself, this sounds very shady, but what harm can it cause? So I went, and the next thing I knew after attending that meeting was that I am officially a marketing committee member who has signed up to go to their weekly committee meetings. During that first meeting, I was asked to go deliver our marketing plans to another committee that actually plans this really cool cultural event that later I learned actually had a name called CulturalFest Expo. Now, you would think that I knew better to see what's coming next. Before I even got to present our marketing plans at the meeting, I was introduced as the new CulturalFest Expo committee member. So basically, I managed to become a member for 2 committees in a week. And from there, I eventually took on the role for CulturalFest Expo Committee Co-Chair and now the Vice President of Student Board. Of course, by this point, voluntarily. Now, you might wonder, why didn't I just stop going to these committee meetings? And yes, it's partly because of the unlimited amount of free snacks, but mainly the people that made me want to stay. However, the answer to that question goes quite a little bit deeper. As a freshman, people would always ask me, what is your favorite place on campus? And my answer would always be the Husky Stadium during a non-game day, because that was the best place to cry without being interrupted, which pretty much sums up my freshman year. However, after becoming involved with FIUTS, I found myself saying that my favorite place on campus would actually be a shaggy little corner on the 2nd floor of the hub, which is the FIUTS office. Now, there are several reasons why the FIUTS office has a special place in my heart. First, there is always leftover food from Wednesday lunch or Era asking me if I want to take food home. This seems to be a recurring theme where my staff advisor, Michelle, would always offer me unlimited amounts of Kind bars, while my current staff advisor, Alex, would always offer me tea. Second, the conversations and interactions you witness or engage in the office. Whether it's having a heated debate with the rest of the student board about which boba tea place is the best on the Ave, or Rachel and I passionately waving out through the window to our committee members as they walk up the stairs with other people giving us weird looks, there's never a boring day in the office. Because after all, the magic that made up the office such a special place was always the people. Recalling my very first committee experience, I was both confused and bewildered by the fact that everyone had a title, whether it's being a committee member, co-chair, or a student board member. But little did I know that these titles actually carried a lot of meaning. These titles not only empowered people to perform their role, but also suggest the significant value FIUTS places in these seemingly insignificant roles. I may just be a committee member, but I looked forward to going to all the committee meetings, knowing that the work I do matters. Reflecting back on my FIUTS journey, these seemingly meaningless titles actually represented my milestones as a leader. Starting from a committee member to leading a committee as a co-chair to supervising all the committees as the student board vice president. Each position not only allowed me to take on new challenges, but also taught me not to question what I'm capable of. Now, I would be lying if I took all the credit. Rather, the credit should go to the people in FIUTS that helped shape me into who I am today as a leader. Whether it's the staff, committees, or student board members, they taught me how to be patient when things aren't going as expected. They taught me resilience during challenging times. They encouraged me to grow as a leader. and supported me throughout this process. More importantly, they accepted who I am and were there whenever I needed them, through my highs and my lows. Slowly and steadily, I started to realize it's not the office itself, but the people that make FIUTS who they are today. Changes are unavoidable, even with FIUTS. Whether it's saying goodbye to old friends, welcoming newcomers, or saying goodbye to our old office, and facing new challenges while moving into a new space. But one thing that remains unchanged is the overwhelming sense of comfort and community FIUTS has provided me. Now, spending my third year with FIUTS, I too have caught the FIUTS syndrome, perhaps even more than Fia. As a graduating senior, when people ask me where my favorite place is on campus, my answer is FIUTS, wherever it may be, because the people are where FIUTS is, and it will always be my home far away from home.